Hi folks, welcome back to the Amazing Education Station. It's the video channel that gives you information you need to know. It's not about the video, it's about listening to the information, which is going to help you financially in your health and wealth and peace of mind and so on. Although for legal reasons, not being a financial advisor, not a medical doctor or a lawyer, it's not financial advice. It's not legal advice. It's not medical advice. Rely on experts for those things, but I am a master educator, and I always like to say it's about the information that's going to help you. It's what you need to know. Yes, it's not about the video because it's boring. You know, it's just going to be nothing really special to watch. Maybe a lot of sidewalks, because guess what? I'm getting good health. I'm even exercising sometimes, making these videos to be healthy, and sitting around at a desk, that's just not good for you. So this is gonna be a little leading by example, what to do, how to be healthy. Today I've already walked, so you should maybe walk about an hour each day for good health. Depending on what other exercise, you might not need to exercise anymore if you've already. But anyway, so back to, if you're going to make your way to financial security, people say passive income, but I wouldn't say it's completely passive. But the number one way for people to have net worths above $1 million, so the millionaire maker, what is it? Is it being a doctor, being a lawyer? Strangely, it's real estate. And although doctors and lawyers often do very well financially, but a lot of times they spend too much money trying to look good so people are confident about them, and they're getting into expensive cars, expensive houses that they don't rent out, and so they have huge expenses along with a good income. It's not bad. You can certainly enjoy your life and your situation, as long as please put money away into investments, into retirement. You high income people, you may not always be high income, especially if you're taking risks such as a lot of desk work, not exercising, not eating right, and so on. And you may run into things that you didn't consider, and the next thing you know, your house is being foreclosed on. Yes, I've known people this happened to. You lose your business, you lose your house, you live with, well, not very much, maybe live in a tiny room with your relatives. It's hard to say, hard to know. So be careful, be financially prudent, and get a property manager and own a house so you have some semi-passive income, and that can protect you. And if you have to live in part of that house even in the future, you know, two people in a room, if the room's big enough, you can even fit 3, and rent the other rooms if you've ruined your health or your health has given out on you. So now this is a continuing series of how to protect yourself from bad renters. Well, people who may be just dishonest, lying, and putting your property at risk by fire. The smokers, people who are lighting illegal fires, maybe using illegal substances and smoking. So what can you do? Well, you can take an idea from low-income housing requirements or legislation that you might see in certain cities, which is they require what are called hardwired smoke detectors. It's not going to stop all tricky smokers and visitors. There are a number of other ways. You need to watch the videos 1, 2, 3, and 4 on to get more ideas, or just Google it yourself, get some ideas of how to prevent smokers from even applying. You don't want their applications, believe me, unless maybe you smoke, but then, okay, so you're taking a risk with your health. Maybe you don't care. You also want to take a risk with your property. Now, personally, I've known somebody that burned up a house, lost his housing, which was a rental, from cigarette smoking because he fell asleep and caught the place on fire. I don't know if the entire house was destroyed, but he said he burned the house down. I don't know if that's true, considering he's maybe not 100% honest, and definitely a drug user, which I know a lot of people out there are. They love it, okay, but how's everything going financially, health-wise? How's your mental health? Well, so I'm trying to promote good mental health, not a doctor, okay, not medical advice, good financial health, and so on. I'm a master educator. So what can you do? How can you prevent the smoking problem? Well, the hardwired smoke detectors, you're going to have to pay. Yes, it's not free. Get an electrician and pay however much it is to get smoke detectors put in pretty much any room except for a kitchen where you would expect smoke anyway. So then if you get constant complaints like, oh, there's a hallway near the kitchen and the smoke detector goes off too frequently, well, you might be required, in fact often, usually required, to have a smoke detector in hallways. It's a good central location, but if you're not required, well, you could have that one removed. Get an electrician. Don't do the electrical work yourself unless you're an electrician. Get a licensed electrician, because if this is a rental house, you can't take risks, and you shouldn't take risks even if it's not a rental house. You want the work done properly. So okay, now once you have the house with the smoke detectors in each room, especially the bedrooms and the living room, basement, any place that you would determine as a comfortable place to smoke, well, guess what? You can expect that they're going to smoke in the uncomfortable place where there's no smoke detector. And well, that could be the place that you go check out. Maybe make that a less flammable location. Maybe it's a garage, or it might be someplace in the basement where there's no carpet, no drapes, and so on. Well, there's hardly anything. It might be a concrete floor or painted floor. Pretty much almost nothing to catch on fire. And if it smells down there, maybe you don't care. So you might be satisfied. Besides having a lease that says they're responsible for any financial issues caused by smoking, you might be doing the best you can. And oh, by the way, if your lease doesn't mention that it's a cause for eviction, expect to be sort of thwarted in your efforts if you find out that you didn't want smoking. If you don't want smoking on your property and you put it in the lease, there's no smoking, and you didn't say it's a cause for eviction, then if you try to get rid of smokers, they might say, well, it says it's against the rules, but it doesn't say what would happen if we break the rules. Well, they can play that game and they could delay an eviction, or who knows, depending on where you live, they might avoid it and burn your house down. Who knows? I can't predict that. But the number one reason for damage to properties, it's fire. Still fire. Because, well, we have so many wooden houses. And, well, here's another one for you, something to consider. The modern furniture and the materials, it's not cotton. So if you have like a sofa built maybe from the late 60s and later, it may be foam, which is like an oil-based product. Yeah, so it's like burning oil. Nylon, it's a crude oil based product. You can call it petrochemical, you can call it crude oil, you could call it plastic, whatever you like. Hydrocarbons. It catches fire so quickly. You have maybe 2-3 minutes to evacuate a room once a fire has started in an oil-based product, including maybe the carpet, the drapes, piece of furniture. Our furniture used to be much safer, solid wood furniture and cotton and maybe linen or cotton materials, which people maybe moved away from because they would or could wear out more quickly than nylons and other things. So it could wear out and maybe be more prone to stains and damage, like, well, water could damage them, could affect cotton much more than nylon. So you could have mold easily, and then that could damage the furniture. So yeah, so you got to be careful that if a fire begins now, they need to just get out. You should have the not only the smoke detectors but also CO2 detectors, so that it's not just one source of detection. If there's a fire and it's unhealthy air, you can also have an alarm for the CO2, because you need oxygen, you need O2, and so that's another thing that you can add. And you can get dual detectors, and as I said, hardwired, and they would have a battery backup, so if the power goes out to the house, they're still backed up. And then you would have probably an annual inspection, but frankly you're allowed to inspect as often as you want. And if you don't have the proper lease, but the smokers said they didn't smoke and it turns out they do smoke, and you don't want them there, you can give them a warning frequently and a inspection. Send your property manager over there twice a month, and you have to give them warning, tell them ahead of time, and just say you're not supposed to be smoking in here. Yeah, it's in the lease, and if you forgot to put it in the lease and all that, and there's probably not much that can be done except when the lease expires and it's time to renew it, and you can say this is a non-smoking property and the lease is changed and you need to sign this. And if you don't, as I said, put the provision in there that it's cause for eviction if it's violated, if the policy is violated. And you could include also growing certain substances that are smokable. I'm not going to say which ones, because it could be any. You don't want that, and you don't want illegal sales and production in your property, unless you're just one of those people that does. Okay, you can take the risk. It's your life. Take care now.